this even going to be a feature for proximity voice chat or VoIP?
Uh, we we know that we need, so it's an our to-do list. Happen sometimes early next year, so it's not going to happen like November or December this year. I think it's more realistic to say, okay, first quarter of 2013. And right now we are actually evaluating different libraries to support that.
Okay, great. That's definitely good to
Uh,
hear.
but, uh, but 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 yeah, it's kind of when we started development first, we said, okay, yeah, it's probably a nice feature to have, but not something that people will need like 100%. They can use TeamSpeak and everything. But we end up, lots of our as developers end up in situation where we actually want to just say to people around us like
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard to use chat. Like said, okay, yeah, we need to move priority on the things, and we need to make it
Yeah, if there was voice
earlier
chat, I'm sure
than
there'd
there.
be a lot less PK going on. But when you got to stop the type, it's hard to trust anybody.
Yeah,
All
that's
right, well
true.
that takes care of that one. Let's see. I got a question from a guy who was wondering if the loot spawns are completely random, or do you have a system in place for this type of loot will spawn here, or this type of loot will spawn there? And he has a specific example of he doesn't find a lot of weapons at military camps, and
Uh,
that's where this one's coming from.
yeah. So basically, we have different types of, let's say, loot spawns, and when we place spawn points, we basically assign what type of loot will be. So we are obviously trying to kind of make it like more realistic. So if you want for uh, military weapons, you have to go to military camps or military installations. And if you are around like a police station or you will probably find more. There will be more chance to find ammo or kind of low grade weapon like high power pistols and
Yeah.
handguns and stuff like that. And then you are in a hospital, you probably find more medication there. So yeah, it's not completely random, obviously. Uh, so it's kind of match environment. But outside that, there is like lots of spawn points, and we don't know for sure if we place like, for example, 10 spawn points in a hospital. We don't know for sure that this item will spawn on this place at this time.
Right.
So that's a random part of that.
All right, well that's good to know that there's some method to the madness of tracking down your gear. So moving on, we have a another question. Some people are speculating that the current engine that you run on, which I believe is the Eclipse engine, correct?
Yes.
Um, say that this engine may not be able to support vehicles. Do you plan on still adding vehicles to this? And if so, is that going to be something difficult?
We actually had vehicles playable in our so number one. First of all, we did vehicles, and we did vehicle code, not we our engine team at Arcus Entertainment did vehicles back for our guys at Online Warmongers for a game called Warring, but it didn't went to Warring yet. And when Hammer Point started working on the game, and they obviously said, yeah, we need vehicles. So vehicles being playable in a first playable test of WarZ. I think we had first version of WarZ that been like bare bones of what we want to do in around February, March 2012. So it's like pretty while ago, and we had vehicles there. We
Okay.
didn't put we didn't put vehicles in the game yet on the release because there will be there was like bunch of issues them like how they handle collisions with zombies, what's going on, what will happen if you put lots of vehicles in one spot, and so there was like some optimizations, let's say, things that needed to be done, and make sure that everything's stable and working properly. But
Okay.
yeah, vehicles will get into the game uh, relatively soon,
All right.
and that
Excellent. That's
and
good to
then
hear.
yeah, and that will be pretty like big update.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm sure a lot of people can't wait for that one. Um, well, since you kind of touched on something that was, pre-alpha build, there was somebody who mentioned here seeing a video pre-alpha of some zombies doing some cool animations, such as trying to grab players and things like that. And now they're not in the current release. Are those coming back, or is that something you guys scrapped?
That depends on what exactly what they saw and what's not on the game. As far as I know, most of the things that for zombie behavior kind of like been there. I don't think much of the zombie behavior actually from the logic standpoint and from the feature standpoint changed since May. So I'm really not sure what guys think they are missing.
There
Um,
was some animations while the zombies are running after players, where are trying to grab the player by their hands and stuff like this. While now the zombies should be running with their hands down towards the players. This
Oh, yeah, so
simply.
we are okay. So uh, we are changing. As you probably noticed in the last like couple of months, we've been changing zombie animations for movement, for running, and I think initial animation they've been running like kind of like trying to grab you with their hands pointing towards you. I think right now zombies mostly running with their hands down and kind of like swinging in three motion. So that's animations, and there is a chance we'll change them again. So
okay. Next one we have is people wondering if there's going to be any type of wildlife, animals, birds, dogs, or anything that it's going to be out in the wild to either interact with or static, either way. Is that something that we can see in the future?
if every time I've been asked about that feature by our team members here at office, I've been getting 1 cent. Okay, I probably had like enough money for, I don't know, for Xbox probably. Not super rich, but yeah, it's one of the feature that our team actually wants to get into the game as soon as possible. But we kind of, from my perspective, more like a wish list feature. So it's more like, okay, we done with everything we want for a game.
Right.
We had all the core features. It's all fine tuned. It's all working fine. So now, what we are going to introduce to have like more fun in the game. I think
Exactly.
if we're talking about wild animals and anything, we instantly get into the point. Okay, so if there are like wild animals, can you hunt them? Can you make meal out of them, and all that, and it's all need to be done properly. So it's basically we can't just put like, let's
Yeah,
say,
we see what you're saying. You want to put the time and effort into something rather than just to have it
yeah,
there and it not work properly. And that's definitely
yeah.
the best approach to it. Because the game is still not, even officially out. It's still in its what's the current actual stage of the game at this exact moment?
It's I feel shocked because like you can go to the website, buy the game, and play and start to play in the game. So as you remember, we started pre-orders on the game on I think October 2nd or October 3rd. Don't remember exactly. We kind of opened the game for guys who bought Legend and Pioneer packages on October 15. But since October 31st, game is wide open, so it's open to all public. So um, when we are saying released or not, it's kind of impossible to say that about the online game. So from our perspective, game is out there. It's available to everyone. So everyone can go start the game. Are we done development if all features we want to have in the game? No, and I don't